everyone, hoping that all of you are doing well. So in this video, we will be discussing that how we can file income tax returns. So there are 7 ideas in total, out of which 1 and 2 is quite simple or basic compared to other. So in this video, we would be discussing idea 3 directly, which is a more comprehensive one and the important one too. But in case you want us to discuss idea 1 and 2 in detail, please let us know in the comment section. We can take up in the upcoming videos. So all these ideas, like which idea to fill, depend upon the nature of persons and the nature of incomes. So like idea 3 is for individuals in HUF which have income from business and profession. That is, those HUFs and individuals who have the income under head PGBP along with the income under any other heads, be it salary, house property, capital gain or other sources. So the agenda of this video would be to discuss how to file idea 3 with the help of a case study. Since idea 3 is quite comprehensive as mentioned earlier, so we would be discussing majorly the PGBP section, which is obviously the heart and soul of this idea, and the remaining part will be discussed in the upcoming videos. So stay tuned for the same. So you can discuss idea 3 from the income tax department website. The link of the same is given in the description. You can easily download it from there. And this question or the case study we would be discussing today. So idea 3, case study 304. So you all can see that it is quite comprehensive, and don't worry, we have given the link of the same in the description. You can download it from there and can keep track of what's all going in the video. So let's start. So when you will open idea 3, this sheet would appear before you. So you have to enable content and this box would appear in front of you. Have to press OK. So you can see that there are a lot of tabs which we need to fill. Yeah. So let's start with a question. Yeah. So since you all can see that the question starts with the personal information of assessee. So the personal information of assessee is being filled in part A general tab. So let's start. So the name of assessee is Ashu Kumar Sharma. The PAN of the assessee is given AAAPS1234D. Aadhaar number is given. Okay, so first of all, let's select the date of, let's type the date of birth. 10/12/1980. After that, you have to mandatorily select the status. So in this case, we are filing ITR for the individual, so we'll select individual. Yeah. And we need to fill Aadhaar number also. So we have filled all the personal information. So now the next information is nature of business. So we'll go to nature of business tab. Here we have to select the code which is given in the question to be 04024. We'll simply scroll it down. Yeah. We have to mention the trade name of the proprietorship, which is not given in the question, so we left it blank only. So now the next piece of information given to us is the manufacturing account. So we'll go to manufacturing account and fill the information accordingly. So opening stock of raw material is there. So opening stock of raw material 14 lakhs. Net purchases of raw material is given. How much? 200 lakhs. Make sure that you enter the amount correctly, because otherwise the calculation done by the software would be incorrect. Direct wages, power and fuel is also there. You just simply have to copy the figures from the question and paste it. I mean, we just have to type it. We don't have to perform any calculation till now. Direct wages is 2 lakhs. Oh, sorry, power and fuel is 2 lakhs. Then factory overhead is 10 lakhs. Factory overhead may be a subcategory is there, that is the indirect wages. 10 lakhs. Now closing stock of raw material 4 lakhs. And this cost of goods produced transferred to trading account is auto calculated. So you can also verify that you have filled the amounts correctly by matching it from there. Like cost of goods produced, this, which is the same as that given in the question. So we are done with the manufacturing account. So this brings us to the trading account. All right. So the gross receipt of business. Okay, the gross receipt of business can be bifurcated into goods or services depending upon the nature of business which is being carried out. So you have to mention the amount accordingly. So sale of goods, it's mentioned the amount separately for goods and gross receipt of business from goods and services separately. So we'll enter accordingly. Sale of services 55 lakhs. Then we have IGST in respect of goods and services supplied. So IGST in respect of goods and services supplied 24 lakhs. Closing stock of finished goods 6 lakhs. Now come to the debit side. Direct expense, carriage and board 4 lakhs. IGST in respect of goods and services purchased. So it will come here. How much is the amount? 10 lakhs. The net purchases of traded goods. Net purchases of traded goods. It will come here. 15 lakhs. So we are done with all the entries, and the gross profit transfer to P&L account, as you all can match, is same. So now let's start with the profit and loss account. So a lot of expenses are given, so we have to enter the amount religiously in order to prevent any mistake. So rent. Okay, so make sure that in profit and loss account, a vertical format is followed. So first of all, income is there, and after which expense would be there. Since we have no income in the P&L account, we'll directly jump over to the expenses part. Yeah, from point 16, our expenses start. So rent would come against point 19, which is 10 lakhs. Repairs to building, 6,25,000. Repairs to machinery, 5 lakhs. Salaries and wages. So guys, mind that salaries and wages is of the employees. Alright. So compensation to employees, salaries and wages, 50 lakhs. Bonus, 5 lakhs. Right below it, we have bonus. Workmen and staff welfare expenses, 8 lakhs. Guys, I would recommend you all to first go through each and every tab of the ITR carefully, so that it would be easier for you to locate the expenses and the things. Okay. After that, we have advertising, 30 lakhs. Commission, 4,50,000. Okay, since nothing is mentioned, we'll assume that the commission is paid to others. That is, it is paid to resident, not to non-resident or outside India, right? To others, 4,50,000. Then we have traveling expenses. So since nothing is mentioned, we'll assume that the traveling expenses are not the foreign traveling expenses. So we'll enter in point 34, that is 1,50,000. They are domestic travel expenses only. Then telephone expenses, 50,000. Then we have audit fee, 2,50,000. Then we have rates and taxes, IGST. Rates and taxes, I think I need to scroll it up. Yeah, there it is. Rates and taxes, IGST, 14 lakhs. Then we have bad debts, 25,000. Okay, so it is written that bad debts, that in case of bad debts, we need to specify PAN of the person if available, for whom bad debt for amount of rupees 1 lakh or more is claimed. An amount. Okay, since we have bad debts of 25,000 only and no information regarding the PAN and other specifications is given, we would simply write the amount here. So you all can see that point 47 has 3 subparts. So we'll enter in point 3 others because the amount of bad debt in our case study is less than 1 lakh. It's 25,000. Oh, I'm sorry. It will come here. 5,000. Then we have other expenses amounting to 1,50,000. So we'll enter it here, miscellaneous expenses. One lakh 50,000. Now we have depreciation, that is 15 lakhs. So we have a separate row for depreciation. This 52, depreciation and amortization, 15 lakhs. Okay, so with this we are done with the P&L entries also. And you all can match that the balance which is carried forward to balance sheet in the proprietor's account is same as that given in the question, which means that we haven't done any mistake in copying the figures. So now okay, so after that other information like adjustments are given. So we'll do it after filling the balance sheet and depreciation tab. Okay, so balance sheet. The tab for balance sheet is part ABS. Okay, so proprietor capital. So in this tab also we have to just enter the amount as it is given in the question. So by now, what we have seen is that we are we does we doesn't have to apply the income tax provisions. Only we have to apply the income tax provisions is when we are doing adjustments. So up till now, we have to just enter the figure as it is. So okay, so now let's start with the balance sheet, proprietor capital. So it will be mentioned here. Okay, so in ITR, instead of liabilities and assets, we have sources of funds and appropriation of funds. And the current liabilities, which in this case is the creditors, are not shown on the liability side, but it is shown as a deduction from the current assets to get the net current assets. Like you all can see that this is the current assets and the current liabilities and provisions would come here, and this is the application of funds. Okay, to get the net current assets. All right, so we have entered the proprietor capital. Now loan from bank. Since nothing is mentioned, we'll assume that it is a secured loan, rupee loan, which is amounting to 22 lakhs. Creditors, we'll type it in the last. Then we have net fixed asset. So one thing which we have to kept in mind at this point is that in the balance sheet, net fixed asset is given, which means that depreciation is already being deducted from it. Whereas in ITR, it is asking for gross depreciation. Therefore, we would be adding the depreciation amount and then again subtracting it by putting the amount of depreciation against row B under point 4 to get the same value as that given in the question. So, which is 120 lakhs plus we'll see the depreciation amount from balance sheet. Sorry, not from balance sheet but from P&L. So it is amounting to 15 lakhs. So we'll add it here to get the gross figure, and then we'll write the depreciation amount here. Yes. So the next is the long-term investment quoted. We'll enter the amount here. Then we have short-term investment in preference shares, 24 lakhs. Then we have inventories, and we have bifurcation of inventories, that is into raw material and finished goods. So we have to enter the amount accordingly. So closing stock, raw material 4 lakhs, finished goods 6 lakhs. Then we have debtors amounting to 2 lakh. Then we have cash in, sorry, it is 20 lakhs. Then we have cash in hand of 4 lakhs. And balance with bank is of 6 lakhs. So with this, our part A balance sheet tab is also completed. So now let's move to the depreciation tab, which is DPMDOA. That is depreciation on plant and machinery and depreciation on other assets. So you all can see that 3 assets are given to us, that is plant and machinery, computer and laptop, and other assets which includes furniture. So in this tab also we just have to enter values and all the calculation will be done by the software itself. And in this question, additional depreciation is also there. So in some cases, additional depreciation, the amount of additional depreciation will not be given to us, and the calculation of the same have to be done on our own. That is, the software would not calculate it for us. So it's okay that in this question the amount is given, but if it is not given, we have to apply the rate of 20% and 10% accordingly, which depends upon the usage of the asset, and enter the amount in this tab. Okay, so let's start with plant and machinery. The rate is given 15%. So we have to start by writing the written down value in the first of the previous year, which is given in the question to be 72 lakhs. Then one asset was added for a period of 180 or more days, 14 lakh 40,000. Then one asset was sold and used more than which was used for more than 180 days, 30 lakhs. Then again one addition was there, which was used for less than 180 days, that is 179 days. So we have to enter this amount here. That is 9,60,000. Then sold asset, which was used for which were used for 179 days, 6 lakhs. Then additional depreciation. The amount of additional depreciation is given to us. We just have to type it here. So additional depreciation, if any, on 4, that is on the assets which was used for more than 180 days. So it is given to us to be 1 lakh, and less than 180 days, 70,000. Now our second fixed asset is computer and laptop, which will be found here. Okay, so computer and laptop comes under the category of plant and machinery only. So it will be entered here, 5,76,000. Then addition for a period of 180 or more days, 11,52,000. Sold, 24 lakhs. Addition which was used for 179 days, 7,68,000. And the same asset was sold, 4,80,000. Okay, so our third asset is furniture. So it will be entered here, 14,40,000. Thousand, 2,88,000. Additions, sold 6 lakhs. Addition for less than 180 days, 1,92,000. Then sold asset and used 179 days, 1,20,000. That's it. So we are also done with the DPM DOA tab. Yeah. So now let's start with the deductions or the rectifications, which is the heart and soul of this idea. Okay. So you all can see that there are 6 adjustments or rectifications. Okay, so first of all, the rectifications is done by using 2 tabs, that is the part AOI and the BP tab. Part AOI, which is visible in front of you, and this BP tab. So the BP tab basically would include those adjustments in which the wrong placements of income is given in the P&L account. For example, if any income, say the interest income, is credited in the P&L account, and we all know that according to the income tax provisions, that income will be taxable under head other sources. And for the calculation of income under head PGBP, we need to rectify it by removing it from the P&L account. So such incomes which are wrongly placed in the P&L account are rectified through BP tab, and other rectifications are done using the Part A OI tab, other information tab. So first things first, you need to remember certain sections, probably the most important ones for rectification, and you have to apply the income tax provisions here only. Because up till now we were just typing the amounts which was given to us. The real challenge comes here. So, but yeah, don't worry. When you will practice more and more questions, you will get hold over it, and you would be able to do it correctly. So we'll also mention in the description that which are the important sections which need to be studied before filing ITR 3 and thus would be of utmost importance to all of you. Okay, so let's start with the deductions now. So the first deduction says that other expenses include household expenses. So we all know that Section 37 of the Income Tax Act talks about the general deduction, and according to this, the household expenses or the personal expenses need not to be debited in the P&L account, but we have done so. So therefore, we'll rectify it by going to this point 7, that is amount debited to the P&L account to the extent disallowable under Section 37. So expenditure of personal nature, 50,000. Yes, so our first rectification is done. The second point is that rates and taxes include an outstanding liability. So we all know that by virtue of Section 43B, the deduction for certain payments are allowed only if they are paid and not outstanding. And the deduction for the same would be paid in the year, can be availed in the year in which they are actually paid. So since for this previous year or assessment year, it's outstanding, so the deduction won't be available. So Section 43B, it will be entered here. Any amount debited to P&L account of the previous year but disallowed under Section 43B because it's still outstanding. 10,000. The next adjustment is salaries and wages include salary of 8 lakh paid to his brother. Similar salary rupees 7,40,000. Okay, so this adjustment talks about Section 40A, in which excessive salary is paid to the relative, which is quite higher than the market rate. Like in this case, salary of 8 lakh is paid to the brother, whereas the market value of same is 7,40,000. So the excessive payment would be disallowed, which is 60,000. So we'll move to Section 40A. Here, amount paid to persons specified in Section 40A 2B, that is 60,000. Then the fourth adjustment is traveling expenses include cash payment, 75,000. Okay, so we all know that by virtue of Section 40A, subsection 3, if we make a payment of more than 10,000 in cash in a single day, then it would be disallowed. The entire amount would be disallowed. Since the cash payment of 75,000 is made for traveling expenses, so it will be disallowed. So it will come right below it, 75,000. Now the next is no TDS has been deducted on audit fee. Okay. So remember we have given a deduction of audit fees while entering the amount into P&L accounts. So according to Section 40 small AIA, 30% would be disallowed because since nothing was mentioned, we have assumed that the audit fees has been paid to resident. So the provision of Section 40 AIA would apply and 30% would get disallowed. In case the same has been paid outside India or to non-resident, then 100% amount would have been disallowed. So 2,50,000 we'll simply do 30% of 2,50,000 to get the amount which is disallowed. So equal 0.3 of 2,50,000. So 75,000 will be disallowed. And the last adjustment is salaries and wages include rupees 4 lakh on training of employees. So guys, this adjustment does not require any rectification because salaries and wages can include training of employees and nothing needs to be rectified. So this adjustment is given just to confuse us. Okay, so this brings us to the end of all the tabs which we need to fill regarding the income under head PGBP. Now we are left with other four heads which we'll cover in the upcoming videos. So hope you must have liked it, and we'll continue with the same question in the upcoming videos. So thank you so much.